From where? From no cause. There is no source. Nobody was there, no mother was there to deliver such a being. Suddenly from the granite or the marble pillar, suddenly emerged this. And he himself defines it as Nrimrgendra. Mimam samanasya samuthito grado nrisimha rupastadalam bhayanagam pratapta chamikara chandalojanam spuratsata kesarajrimbhitananam. See, Srimad Bhagavatam is a compendium. It contains, as you know, 18,000 Sanskrit verses. In order to be a compendium, Srimad Bhagavatam will have to discuss, describe, enunciate, and also present a number of things. Everything connected with human life in one form or the other. We are seeing a stupendous and imposing world around us. There are mountains here, rivers here, very huge trees, trees which are thousands of years old. A number of herbs are there. There are lakes. There are so many different kinds of flowers, fruits. And if you look at the sky, you will find the sky is always colored with a number of different types of clouds. There is cyclone here. There is heavy rain. There are floods. There are droughts. How many different kinds of creatures are there? Each creature kingdom has its own habit, ways and methods. When you start writing, you will have to describe all these in a beautiful manner. So a good writer, particularly a poetic composer, must have a great deal of knowledge to describe the entire world before us. Now here you see what a vocabulary Vedavyasa is using in order to picture before you the encounter between Hiranyakashipu and Narahari. Mimam samanasya Samuthito agrataha, right in front. Mimam samanasya. Hiranyakashipu could not understand where from the sound was emerging. Ultimately he found a Nrisimha emerged. What is this? How could this happen? So a sense of arresting inquiry gripped him. Mimam samanasya. Questioning himself, how could this happen? What all boons I have gained? Here something seems to be happening against which no safeguard I have been able to achieve. Suddenly it has appeared, man-lion, man-lion. We have never heard about it. So he was questioning with anxiety, curiosity, wonder and consternation within himself. Mimam samanasya. What is this? Where from it has come? What is going to be had now? I have sword in my hand. I have shield in my hand. I have club in my hand. Now the encounter I am going to be had is with a man-beast. A number of thoughts flashed in his mind. And he was wondering what to do, how to face and all that. However much he may boast or he may even feel in reality that he was unconquerable, now is going to be a grave, unprecedented encounter. Mimam samanasya samuthito agrataha nrisimha rupastadalam bhayanagam. He found that Nrisimha Rupa, that man-lion form, Bhayanagam. He had to admit in his mind, at least for a moment, that it was fierce, frightening and terrible. Pratapta chamikara chandalojanam spuratsata kesarajrimbhitananam. Pratapta chamikara chandalojanam. The eyes of the lion, not lion, the man-lion, they were sparkling like golden melted gold. Pratapta chamikara chandalojanam spuratsata kesarajrimbhitananam. You must have at least seen the picture at least of a lion. How will a lion look? And this lion face and neck, it is fixed to the man body, the human body. Just imagine how would it look. Spuratsata kesarajrimbhitananam. Above the neck, it is all non-human. How was it looking? Glittery, brilliant, sparkling, brilliant, matted locks. So the lion will have a lot of mane, all long hair. It is not called fur, but it's a long hair. And all of them will be very sharp and piercing all around. Neck also is all around the neck and also upon the head. Spuratsata kesarajrimbhitananam mimam samanasya samuthito agrato. Right in front jumped the lion. Nrisimharupastadalam bhayanagam pratapta chamikara chandalojanam spuratsata kesara jrimbhitananam. Vedavyasa describes the man lion a little more. Karaladamstram karavala chanchalakshuranta jihvam bhrugudi mukholbanam stabdhordhakarnam girikandara vyatasyanasam anubheda bhishanam. Karaladamstram karavala chanchalakshuranta jihvam bhrugudi mukholbanam. See, any kind of a form, if it is present before you, if it is still, I don't think it will become fierce. There must be some kind of a movement, some vibration or something like that. Then only your attention will be arrested and it will be able to send radiations of fear or otherwise. So here some movements are there. Karala damstram. Its fangs, damstra, that teeth-like thing which projects from the mouth. Karala damstram. It is very terrorizing, terrible, very fierce to look at, frightening indeed. Damstram chura karavala chanchalakshura jihvam. Jihva means the tongue. The tongue is like the sword on the one hand and knife on the other. So it is very fat, say, very wide. At the same time, it is very sharp. Karavala chanchala, like the quivering sword, it is going on moving. And it is pushed to the left and the right, goes on licking this way and that way. Kshuranta jihvam bhrukudi mukholbanam. The man lion was looking very gravely, not only at Hiranyakashipu, at everything all around. And in that process, the eyebrows became very curved, very much curved. And the eyes also became very pronounced and frightening. Bhrugudi mukholbanam stabdhordhakarnam girigandharadbhuta vyatasyanasam anubheda bhishanam. Stabdha urdhvakarnam. The ears are very tall, very tall. Urdhvakarnam. Face is frightful with acutely curved eyes. When the eyebrows and the eyes as well, both of them become curved, the face becomes very sharp and frightening also. Giri kandaradbhuta vyatasyanasam. The cheeks are split. It is called cleft cheeks. I don't know, I am also to remember the lion very well now. You see, when you look at the lion, you will find it has got a very peculiar face. And then the cheeks, this portion will have a little fold, something like we call it cleft. With the cleft cheeks, be looking very fierce. It is adding to the fierceness of the whole creature. Vyatasyanasam anubheda bhishanam. What about the mouth and the nostrils? Mouth is something very prominent and nostrils. All of them are looking like the caves of the mountain. This is the description Vyasadeva gives. Karaladamstram karavala chanchalakshuranta jihvam bhrugudi mukholbanam stabdhordhakarnam girigandharadbhuta vyatasyanasam anubheda bhishanam. Now, Hiranyakashipu himself is very tall. And he has got his sword, shield, club and what not, as I have mentioned. With all these things, he is standing there. Now, who has appeared before him? It is something like a dwarf creature. Now, the encounter is going to be between the two. And we very well know what is going to happen. But whatever it may be, Hiranyakashipu is going to put out a very grave fight before the man-lion. No matter whether it is divine or non-divine. Maybe it is a divine emergence, but he is not going to yield at all. So, enough of fierceness, power, valor, presence of mind, readiness to fight, all these should be there in the opponent. So, Vedavyasa, by this kind of a description, whatever description he can give to the lion figure, he is giving, so that the message goes that it is very fierce, that is also very difficult to conquer. Karaladamstram karavala chanchala kshuranta jihvam bhrugudi mukholbanam stabdhordhakarnam girigandharadbhuta vyatasyanasam anubheda bhishanam divisprishat kayam adirghapivara ग्रीवोरुवक्षस्थलम् अल्पमध्यमं चन्द्रांशु गौरैश्चुरितं तनूरुहैः विश्वभुजानीकशतं नखायुधम्. Sometimes I was wondering whether I should read all these Sanskrit verses and explain to you. I felt that we should make this known to the people. First of all, it is Sanskrit language and it is appearing in a devotional scripture like Srimad Bhagavatam. And the purpose is to make people understand God whom we are worshipping. Innocent people worship God. Simple people worship God. The illiterate also worship the same God. All of them should understand that God whom they worship is such a wonderful, uncontrollable, unyielding power that it is capable of protecting the devotee in any situation whatsoever. In order to drive home the message, the whole episode has been beautifully designed and presented. Divisprishatkayamadirghapivara grivoruvakshasthalam alpamadhyamam. Divisprishatkayam adirghapivara. What does it mean? Divisprishatkaya. Body-wise, it is touching the sky. Very huge body. And it is touching the sky. This is what Hiranyakashipu found. When Hiranyakashipu looked at the man-lion, this is what he was finding. Divisprashad kayam adirghapivara. At the same time, what about the neck and the head? The neck is short, very short, stout. Adirghapivara grivoruvakshasthalam alpamadhyamam. The chest is very, very broad. At the same time, it is constricted. Then just below that, there is a waist which is very thin as well as slender. Just see the contrast between the two. The body is very huge. The neck is very short and stout. And the face and the head and the fur and the mane, all this has been described. Now he says the waist is something very thin. Chandramshu gauraishchuridam tanuruhai. All over the body. The hair and the mane, all around the body, they are absolutely white, like the moonlight, he says. Moon-like white, but very sharp and piercing, all over the body. It is not that there is nothing. It is completely covered with all this kind. Very grey, absolutely white, not even grey. Shamdramshu gauraishchuridam tanuruhai vishwabhujani kashatam nakhayudham. So far as the weapons which man-lion is wielding, if you ask, he says, Vishwabhujani kashatam nakhayudham. He has multiple, manifold hands. All of them have sharp, protruding and piercing nails. Very strong. This is the figure he saw. The Divisprishat kayamadirghapivara grivoruvakshasthalam alpamadhyamam Chandramshu gauraishchuridam tanuruhai vishwabhujani kashatam nakhayudham durasadam sarvanijetarayudha pravega vidrabida daityadanavam prayena meyam harinorumayina vadha smrto anena samudyatena kim. Hiranyakashipu's reflection. This is the way he responds to it. In his mind, the thoughts and responses that came by seeing this form are described here. Durasadam sarvanijetara ayudha pravega vidrabida daityadanavam. Durasadam sarvanijetara ayudha pravega vidrabida daityadanavam. This kind of a terrific, frightening form. When all of them saw, all the Daitya Danavas, when they saw it, they were very much afraid and they took to heels. Such an unapproachable form, unprecedented, unheard of. How can we face them? So all of them simply left the place, running away for safety. Prayena meyam harinorumayina. He admits in his own mind, Lord Hari, by virtue of his inscrutable power called Maya, this wonderful power, Prayena meyam harinorumayina vadhasprato anena samudyate nagim. In all probability, Hari has made a witchcraft here. and he has put on this form. And through this, I am going to be killed. At least this is what Manlion or Lord Hari thinks. But from my side, what I have to say, see, he picks up courage to offend as well as defend himself. Vadhasmruto anena samudyate nagim. But I am not such a timid fellow. I am under the safe cover of Brahma's boons, and nothing is going to happen to me. I am not going to yield before this form. By no standards, he is a match for me. So I am not going to recede at all. So he collected his spirit, stood firm. Evam bruvantu abhyapadad gadayudho nadan nrisimham pradidayitya kunjaraha alakshito gnau patidah patangamo yatha nrisimhaujasi so asurastada. Evam bruvan, speaking in this manner, he was reassuring himself. Maybe this is a Maya creation of Lord Hari, in order to attack and assail me and subdue me. But I am not one who is going to be subdued like that. Let Hari understand that I am here to pounce upon him, to pulverize him. Thinking in this manner, Evan bruvantu abhyapadat gadayudho. He had club in his hand. Abhyapadad nadan nrisimham. He roared. Generally, lion is given to roaring. And Hiranyakashipu himself roared, even stronger, deeper and loftier. Gadayudho nadan nrisimham prati daitya kunjaraha. He fell upon the Nrisimha. Alakshito gnau patidah padangamo yatha nrisimhau jasiso surastada. That Asura, thinking that he is going to attack him, took the first step, the advanced measure, and pounced upon him. You know what happened? Alakshito gnau patidah patangamo. Suppose a moth, there is a fire burning, blazing. Seeing the fire, the moth feels and it just goes into it. Then what happens? In the whole brilliance of the fire, the moth disappears. Exactly like that happened. Alakshidaha agnau patidaha patangamo. Patangamaha agnau patidaha iva alakshidaha. In the super splendor and brilliance, the dazzling brilliance around Narahari, this Asura was not seen at all. Evam bruvam abhyapadad gadayudho nadan nrisimham pradidaitya kunjaraha. Just see, when he questioned, where is your Hari? Everywhere was the answer. Then is he in the pillar? The child said, yes. In order to prove the truth of what he said, to vindicate himself, he appeared. Though he appeared, Narahari is not doing anything. It is true that here is a fierce form, frightening form, stunning form, but it doesn't do anything. The first step of attack has been taken by Hiranyakashipu. I am always wondering, in the Kurukshetra famous war, Mahabharata war, Krishna was telling Pandavas, Yudhishthira, Arjuna, we should never take the initial step in this war, actual fighting. They should fight, we should only defense. There is a great principle. God has no anxiety or special reason to destroy any wicked person. The wicked person warrants destruction and he forces it on the Supreme God. In the same manner here also, there was enough time given for whom? For Hiranyakashipu. He could have realized his mistake and then confessed himself and surrendered before Lord Hari in the form of Narahari. But he did not do it. On the other hand, he said, I am not a timid person. I cannot be frightened or intimidated by all this. I am going to fight. He thinks that with this form, he can overcome me. It is not possible at all. Saying like this, Nadan nrisimham pratidaitya kunjaraha. But what is the effect? Alakshito gnau patidah patangamo yatha nrisimhaujasi so surastada. That Asura at that time suddenly disappeared in the brilliance shining all around that Narahari form. Nobody could notice him at all. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, you should understand. So in the next verse, they are bringing some philosophy and also telling you how all these things. So the devotional link is always maintained in the narration. Na tad vijitram khalu sattvadhamani swatejasa yonu purabivattamaha tadobhipadyabhyahanan mahasuro rushan nrisimham gadayoruvegaya. How is it that such a great demon emperor, he disappeared altogether in the brilliance of that short form? If you ask, this is the answer. Na tad vijitram khalu sattvadhamani. What is meant by sattvadhamani? Mahavishnu is considered to be a Shuddha Sattva Murti. Sattva means Prakasha. Sattva Guna stands for Prakasha, happiness, and also knowledge. Light, knowledge, and happiness. So, that Prakasha is an important aspect of Sattva Guna. Because Mahavishnu is Shuddha Sattva Murti, he is all brilliance. Because of that, what does he do? Swatejasa yonu purapivattamaha. It is not at all astonishing on the part of this pure being called Shuddha Sattva Murti, because at the end of the Pralaya, during the Pralaya, at the end of it, he generally devours all the darkness that covers the entire world. You know, in the dialogue between Navayogis and King Nimi, at one particular chapter, I have already described the Pralaya, how Pralaya occurs and what is at the end of it. Here they are making a reference. Na tad vijitram khalu sattvadhamani swatejasa yaha anu purapivat tamaha. So at the end of Pralaya, there is a pitch darkness that devours the whole universe. You cannot say universe, that devours everything. That darkness is swallowed by Mahavishnu, the Shuddha Sattva Murti. Then alone further creation starts. So a person or a source which has got power enough, majesty enough to devour the whole universal darkness, is it not very, very simple for him to be completely enveloping this Asura emperor called Hiranyakashipu? Na tad vijitram khalu sattvadhamani swatejasa yonu purapivattamaha tato abhipadya abhyahanat mahasuro. But that was of no consequence at all. It appears that Hiranyakashipu has been completely hidden in that brilliance. But he came out of it. And what did he do? He fell upon Narahari. Abhipadya abhyahanan mahasuro rusha nrisimham gadayoruvegaya. With his club firmly held in his hand, he hit Mahavishnu. Tado abhipadya bhyahanan mahasuro rusha nrisimham gadayoruvegaya. With a very powerful stroke, he administered a blow with his club on Narahari. You know, I would like you to understand, any fight cannot be one-sided. If there is going to be a fight, the fight has to be two-sided, bilateral. It is not that X and Y fight right from the beginning. X alone is in the upper hand and Y loses. That is not a fight at all. That means X has not found the right adversary for him. So in order to prove the merit and the invincible nature of Hiranyakashipu, especially because of the boons that he had obtained, that fact has to be demonstrated there. So Hiranyakashipu was very powerful. So he allowed the opponent to show his valor, display his strength, display his tact, everything was given. And so what happened? He got a severe blow first from Hiranyakashipu. Now Narahari has every right to defend himself and also offend. So he allowed Hiranyakashipu to display his intention physically as well as mentally. So he gave a blow. I am reminded of the encounter between Krishna and Dantavaktra. You know, Dantavaktra took a very strong, massive club, and first he bet Krishna right on his head. Now, this is a different situation. There it was Krishna. Everybody knows about him. That Krishna, Dantavaktra encounter, first blow was administered by Dantavaktra, and he took it. On finally alone, he subdued him. Here also this is what is happening. Rusha nrisimham gadayoruvegaya. Rusha means with a lot of anger, hatred, wrath and intolerance. with a lot of resoluteness and will, he administered a club hit.